That old clock on the wall says it is now 11:30 a.m. About an hour and a half after I usually do it. I've been out all morning doing important things, and so um, now I'm alone in the house, and that dog is at a play date. He's gonna be swimming in the swimming pool all day long, and he loves doing it. And my dog sitter sends me video of him playing with all his friends and everything like that. So he's going to have a wonderful day. And that's what you have dogs for. You don't want them to have anything other than wonderful days. So yesterday I was working on page 62, and I pretty much got the upper part colored and a lot of the bottom part colored. So I'm going to play around with it today, and then I'm going to go into maybe page 63. And I've got a very simple drawing there. I like it a lot, but I might want to draw on that and get myself some just a little more complexity. And I've been kind of experimenting with this little watercolor brush, which is just a basic watercolor brush. But when you make it large enough, you can draw very, very lightly with it and get a real subtle line, or you can press real hard, and then you get a very emphatic line. So I'm going to play around with that, I think. Anyway, stop sharing this, this is Blueboy Brown, Adventures of a Family. And this is a page 61 right here. It's stacked on top of each other, so it'd be vertical like this. But this is where Clifford is beating living tar out of Leroy D. Hammer. And Joby and Blueboy decide that it's probably a good idea that he doesn't kill him. So they pull him off him. And this leads to the next page, which is, howdy there, that right there. And so I'm going to bring that up, and that's what we got right now. That's what we have right now. Let me bring that up, and Blueboy has pulled Clifford off of Leroy, feeling it's a good idea that no homicides occur today. Clifford doesn't like this idea, and he's gonna have a few words with Blueboy in a few minutes. So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, so yesterday I was doing shadows. I did a second color area because I messed around with the shadow area, and I have another. Then I have my shadow area over here, and I was talking about how it's a good idea that your shadows have color in them, that they're not gray, real grays, they're chromatic grays. And you get chromatic grays by mixing a cool color and a warm color, especially a complementary color, and two complementary colors. So this is a tint of orange, and this is a shade of blue. So you mix those two together, and you get this chromatic neutral right up here. That's a chromatic neutral. But it also is since it's chromatic, it's not made from black and white. It still interacts with all the other colors, and it becomes a nice, you can still see ambient light in there, and you're not going to get things getting muddy. And let me see what I did here. Yeah, this is brownish. Now, brown is black and red, but if you're going to get brown, that's all you can do. Unless you mix some, I guess you could mix red, green, and make it mostly red, and you'll get a particular type uh, of a brownish color, which maybe I'll experiment with some other time, but not today. Anyway, I got this to the point where I'm kind of happy with the top part, and so I want to play around with the bottom part. Now, I'm not so sure about this guy's face. It's a little, maybe it's not exactly the way I want it. Well, certainly when it comes to color, the he's got should have some color on his face there, not just alabaster white. Is an alabaster white? I think so. It's ebony that's black and alabaster is white. That's Snow White. Okay. So I might change that later on, but I'm not going to change it right now. Down here, maybe clean that up a tiny bit. Yeah, clean that up a tiny bit. And clean that up a tiny bit. There's a little bit of left-handed smudging of a pencil, which is just one of those things we left-handers do. We get all smudgy. And so up here, I played around with different types of. I need more than just a. I need to sort of like make this more pinkish. And here in the color area, let's see what I can do here. Maybe I can, put a little bit, add a little bit of this to that and not just make it a flat color, which will probably help out when I put some shadow over there. So his whole face is pretty much in shadow. And his face needs to have a little bit more going on with it. And his arm here, and his face. Now this guy, let's make him not just, let's, let me see, I'm going to make him one of the African Americans on the yeah. Now you don't just put brown in there. That's not how you do anybody's. You just try to get as many colors together as you possibly can to turn it into what you want it to be. And so that means that up here in color 2, I should add a little bit of a complementary, which would be bringing it up here into green. Bring it over a little bit like that. Let's see what happens when I do that. And bring this over here, and that makes it much more like reality. Nobody's skin is just one simple color. And then give this just the tiniest bit of tap of tiny tap. That helps, though. We may have to. Okay, now going back up here into color 2, I may have to bring this down here to and in color. Where was I? Here. Gotta fill this in. Can't leave that undone. And then dodge him a tiny bit. Bring this over. Smudge it a tiny bit. So his face looks like there's a little bit of sunlight catching also his upper lip, because his upper lip's going to be, that didn't work. Where am I? Okay. Now, sometimes you can do what you want to do and sometimes you can't. Now, and a darker brown for the hair, and that's gonna have some, well, it's gonna have some real dark brown. Okay, real dark brown. Yeah, let me see how that works. Okay. That's good practice because I have an African American protagonist planned for book 2 that I'm real proud of this character. He's a great character. I really worked hard on him, and he's one of the heroes of my story. So that worked. Yeah, that smidge and a green turns this into an understandable thing. I might just want to put a little smidge of green on Clifford's face too, because that happens to everybody. Everybody's got a little bit of smidgen of green in their face. Yeah, helps. Makes that. Yeah, makes that. Makes a shadow here, a decent shadow, and it helps bond that with that. La 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 la. So don't want to go overdo it. Otherwise, he looks like he's. But that's a pretty good deal. Okay. And I'm still going to put that kind of bluish gray. And this guy is also, yeah. I forgot that I planned to do that. And okay, he's also. Okay. And my green. Not there. There. My green. Here's my green. Okay. So up here in color 2, give him a little green over here. That's a little too strong. That's a little too strong. Oh, that's because it's a black. That explains that. I must have. Sometimes my hand quivers and I don't get what I want out of it. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me see if I can soften that up a bit. One of those nothing days. That's life. No. Oh, here I am with I'm monitoring YouTube on my phone, and of course I always forget to turn off the, yeah, little bit of, so we're going to put a little bit of green. Let me see if I can. Yeah. And a tiny bit there. Maybe a tiny bit there. And that, yeah. Okay, now that green wouldn't be too bad on that guy's face, would it? Let me see. Good. Now, let me lighten that green so it doesn't overpower that place right there. It doesn't overpower it. Okay. So this is an example of using a green over a pink and creating an area that is essentially what you do if you were putting gray over it, except now it operates as a color and it's not going to become deadened because black does not interact with colors. It's not a color. How do I have this? So now I gotta fix a few little problems here. Up in color. These hands have to be, okay, that one is his hand, the big guy there. That's his hand. That's his thumb. Yeah. That's his big Jack Kirby hand, fingers. Always go back to Jack Kirby. If you don't love Jack Kirby, don't talk to me. Okay, see, that works. That's nice. That's nice. Okay, now, now he's not gonna stand out too well if I don't do something about his shirt. He's just gonna kind of disappear in there. So we're gonna have to make his shirt come out like this. And he's wearing this guy here is wearing a grayish, probably let me look back. Yeah, I've got all the hands where they're supposed to be and done correctly. So that also, by putting this value here and this value here, it helps him stand out. He doesn't get lost in the mix. This is not something that I plan like I had some. I do this on the fly. I say, okay, this is what it is. This is what it is. It's gonna work that way. I'm going to bring this out like this out like this, bring this up a tiny bit, bring this up like that. Okay. I guess it's working out better. I thought it was. Then Blueboy grabs hold of him over here. Okay. Now, let's take, well, I'm going to have to play around with their hat color. Hats are important. This is 1914. Everybody's got a hat. So I'm going to make it a warmish gray hat. Try to take out just for, yeah. And this will be this man's hat. See whether or not that works. I should do this. Okay. And pull this up a little bit so it doesn't get obscured by that banner. Okay. Now, where am I? Oh, I'm coloring hats. I think I am. Okay. Sometimes you have to save. Is that working again? Yep, it's working again. Okay. Sometimes you have to save. Something goes on. I have plans for a newer computer. Probably in the fall. I've been working on a little MacBook Pro. Doing this entire comic on a little MacBook Pro, which has served me beautifully. I traded a painting for it. I was real happy to do that. And so when my Mac Pro desktop, which was long in the tooth, went out on me finally, I think it's because the graphics card went kablooey. And I thought about it and I said, wait a second, it's going to cost me more to fix this than the dang thing's worth on the market. So I'm waiting around. I'm going to spend that some money to fix it. Why don't I just spend some money to get a newer computer? That's what I'm going to do. So we'll make this a little lighter color, little Stetson color, and that's the color we'll give this guy's hat, which doesn't do much to the tone, but I still have a few cards up my sleeve. I bought myself and then I'll make this, don't do that. Make this a little grayer, like over here. Should I do that? Or make it a cooler color, like that. Just nudge it up closer. Yeah, I'll see what that does. Yellow has a very, very short band of purity. You go a little off kilter and you're into yellow green. You go a little off kilter, you're into yellow orange. But that doesn't work too badly. That kind of nice because see what I was trying to do is I was trying to have a jump from this to that green, this to that green, but it can't be the same green. So there's a certain, you jump from that color to that color, and it helps get your eye moved around, which is what all this stuff with when you're planning colors, what you're really doing is you're saying, I want the eye to be led to this. And I'm going to use color to do it. And that's what classically, oh, don't do that to me. Yeah. Classically, that's what artists like Renaissance painting do. You'll create most of the painting will be composed of chromatic neutrals, and only those sections where the viewer is called to concentrate will have pure color. The rest will just be in chromatic neutrals. Rembrandt was a master of doing that. Bruegel did it. Man, I don't know if you know much about Bruegel, but Bruegel is just like so incredibly wonderful. That guy could just do anything. And we'll bring this down a little. Let's see if that works. Do this all kind of intuitively. Does that work? Because later on I'll lay shadows all over this. It's interesting. I'm 67 years old, and I produce more work as a 67-year-old at a bigger clip than I did when I was 20. And when I was 20, I could stay up for 3 days without sleep. But I didn't have all this experience, and so I was making it up as I went along. That sort of works. And when you play shadow over, it'll work better. And then this guy back here, my big guy, he should be wearing something purplish, just slightly purplish. Take out the, yeah, make that purplish because I'm going to lay some, yeah, it's a, now I don't know if I'll keep that color. I have no idea whether or not I'll keep that color. We'll see. Because you don't want, probably that should also be, well, we'll see. I could always lay something over that and turn it into a chromatic neutral. And maybe what I do. Because you don't want this to become a distraction. So that you get drawn down to this guy's pants instead of looking at Clifford and Leroy's faces, which is what I'm going to try and get you to do. Pop from Leroy's face to Clifford's face to Leroy's face and back up and back up and back up and back up, and so that you realize these guys are ticked off at each other. Why? Well, I'll give it away. It's cause of fornication. Fornication does it. They do it every time. You fornicate with the guy's wife, and he's going to be mad. Okay. Now let's bring this into the orange range and then place this up in color too. And then lay this over here. And I've knocked down this color, but I haven't actually made a brown by adding this bluish color and an orange. You got a brown, a nice brown too. I've got one page, which I'm probably going to do a recolor on, in which I didn't pay attention to my own ideas. Must have had my biorhythms off that day. See how it works. Yeah, those become stair steps. Yep. Okay. So now I should look what I'm doing over here. Now I should lay my bluish shadow over this so that I can unify these areas. And here's my bluish shadow. And I bring this up here. Might as well put my banner reminding you that if you were to go to Patreon, become a patron of mine, you get some of the original art from this book. I've got 5 slots left. I opened up 10 slots, and I've got 5 of them left. If you do the highest VIP, you get an entire page. If you get even the little $3 one, unless you're outside the United States, you're outside the United States, you have to pay for the postage. I had a guy from Hungary, a super guy, who I offered this, and he said, "Look, at least let me pay for the postage." You know something? He's right. You pay for the postage because how much it costs? A lot. So I'm going to give you a piece of original art. This guy was cool. Super cool guy. Yeah, if you're outside the United States, then you got to pay for the postage. And we'll figure out what it's a lot of money. And I still I should check my phone and go to the U.S. Postal Service because the last time I looked, it was up in Jamaica, Queens. It had taken like 6 weeks to get to Jamaica, Queens from Florida. It's crazy. See how this, by putting all these cool colors with this warm color, I've got this guy standing out. Got to keep him standing out. What did I do here? Here, I got that, and I don't want that little speck of white in there. Okay, bring that over here, and what did I do here? Let's make that just flesh color. I'm not gonna worry too much about what that's supposed to be. And so, once again, go over here. Have I done that right? Okay, sort of a blue gray. Let's see what it actually is. It has 2%. Now it has no percent. It has 38% cyan, 15% magenta, 14% yellow. So it is a chromatic neutral. It has no black in it. It has 173 red, 194 green, 206 blue. But I'm using CMYK, which it'll be converted to RGB for the web, but I'm keeping it at this color. I mean at CMYK for doing this because my goal is to eventually put it in print form. So anyway, so let's see what we do here. I'm up in the shadow. Once again, I'm laying in shadow here. And it should probably be broken shadow. I give him blue teeth. I think he needs to go see a dentist. Good luck on that. You got to go find a dentist that has been trained in the military. First dentist I ever went to was a guy who learned dentistry in the Navy. Man, I was screaming by the time I got finished with him. I guess in the Navy. And I was 8 years old, so. Oh, well, that's just one guy. You can't blast all military dentists because of this one guy. So, how does that look? I don't know. It makes him look kind of ghoulish, doesn't it? Well, he's not the nicest person in the world. So let's keep on putting blue over everything. See what happens. Giving me trouble again. No, that's because I'm smudging that, but there's nothing to smudge. What a da. Okay, back here. So back to putting a little bit of blue over him. And okay, well, let's not get caught up on that. Okay, we'll put the blue down here. We should also put it up here. Right there. I'm doing this in the hand if you can't see, especially if you watch this thing on a phone, see how you figure out what the heck I'm up to. Then bring this down here. His hand's going to be mostly in shadow, but we'll leave a bit out of shadow so it becomes a little less of just a silhouette. Okay, now, okay, go to town on some of this stuff. Make sure those suspenders goes underneath that arm. And you got the belly overhang, so you got to make sure there's a shadow there. And then you're going to have some of this coming in as shadow on his shoulder because this guy's face is right next to his, and this guy's face is going to maybe have a little bit of this on top of it. And we'll bring that shadow in here. Bring it across this man's face. Where'd my doohickey go? For some reason, the old, yeah. Let's see if I can save this. No, you're not responding to me. See, this is why I want to get another computer. So let me see. See what happened there? Okay. I'm getting the rolling beach ball That happens. It happens to me. No, okay. So life's getting back to normal. So we'll have baseball, golf. Had a live event last weekend. Rory McIlroy and Dustin Johnson against Ricky Fowler and some other guy. Ricky got beat by Dustin and Rory, which with the kind of power they have off the tee makes it real difficult to deal with them on one-on-one. They're both pretty powerful off the tee, both Dustin and Rory. And Rory's been hot lately, and he was cold for a while. So that gives me hope for Jordan Spieth that he'll come back, that he'll get his act together, because he's a great golfer. He just made the mistake of trying to add something to his skill set that's not a part of his skill set and never is going to be a part of his skill set, and that's length from the tee. So he's had a heck of a time getting onto the fairway and not hitting fairways at the proper time. And so he's always had to, because of all that, he's had to rely on his short game. He has an amazing short game, but you just can't place your entire everything just on your short game, unless maybe you're Tiger Woods, and he could miss every fairway on the first 9 in the 2018 PGA Championship, and he still was 2 under par for the final round in the first 9 holes. That's Tiger. He's on a class by himself. But a guy like Jordan, forget about length. 109, 250 yards. Be happy with 250 yards. Then use that short game. You got it. If you place it correctly on the fairway, you can use that short game. Use your irons to get yourself situated so you're close to the pin and make birdies. But he's not been doing that. Notice how with my beach ball doing this. And now it's coming back. But my okay, now I've got the beach ball. This is so stupid. I got my beach ball. I'll disconnect my Wacom tablet and then I'll connect it again. See if I can get it back. This is not fair. Okay, let's see if I can get it back. Oh well. It's coming along. Coming along. Maybe this time away from the links will do Jordan some good. Oh, stop it. Now I think I have my... Okay, do I have it back? I did have it back. Undo brush tool. Undo brush tool. There, that's what I wanted. Because I didn't want that to... Now I got to turn this back on. Anyway. So this whole point of this is to be able to create a shadow without... Good, I'm back. Without resorting to black of any kind. Use a chromatic neutral to get your shadows. Okay, now we'll bring this up here, and this blue works real nicely against this tan Stetson color. This becomes a second value in the shadow, and that works nicely too. We can do the same thing over here in this man's face. Leave this a little bit alone. We can probably do the same thing over here, but you don't want to get this too dark so it drops out. In fact, I'm not going to do that. It'll get too dark and it'll drop out. Whereas over here, maybe I could do that. And over here, so it's not just this tone. Okay. Same here. And then we'll put shadows in here because his sleeve is getting all crumpled up. That's getting there. And we haven't even paid any attention to poor Leroy sitting there on the ground. What about that guy's hat color? I don't want his color. Well, I could turn that into a warmer thing and then bring it up here. And sort of got a peach colored and make this a little bit peach colored, and maybe that'll work real nice against the rest of the colors here because it'll still be warm, and I don't have to color it perfectly. Kind of want it to be. I put that in the shadow. That was just brilliant. Okay. Now I was being a big dummy and doing this. This is over in the shadow area too. Okay, I got this. Maybe I should bring it up here. Bring this down over here. And get at least the implication that there's something going on that you don't see, which is always a good thing to have in any thing. It's always nice to say, oh, there's something over there I can't see. In fact, I'm going to use that. One of my major drama, some of the major drama in this chapter is that all types of things are going on, but you haven't seen it. You just know it happened. It had to happen because look at its effects. Okay, down here in this guy's pants color, what are we doing with that? Okay, we'll use this. Let me see. Okay, that's what I wanted. More like that. And over this guy's okay. And we want, no, that wasn't smart. We'll put him down here. Put that down here. That becomes oops. Boom, boom. Didn't want that. Okay. So now we're gonna play around with this kid's face. He's got to be in the shadow. His face is in the shadow also. I sort of want his hair also to be a lot in shadow. His nose is going to be somewhat in shadow. That's okay in shadow. A little bit over here. And then some over here on his shoulder. And then these guys have some shadow on him. This has to be in shadow. Nah. A little bit of shadow over here. We have to deal with that guy's sleeve, which I haven't done. Put this down here. This over here so that underneath his vest, which is the same color as, let me see what I got going on here. Yeah, that I wanted to kind of convey that he was in a fury. Kind of do it with shadow and more than just the drawing. Okay. And so, I guess I'm gonna lay some of this blue over all these guys. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, kind of simplify this a little bit. Placing this blue over here and not getting the side of his head involved in that. I pop his head out from Blueboy's chest and it becomes recognizable and understandable. Okay. And then we'll bring this down too. Don't want to put it all the way over Blueboy's glove. You want to kind of sort of make this shadow, these shadows, somewhat broken. Let something else shine through. And okay. Now he's wearing white because he's a foreman. He didn't work that hard anymore. Why else become foreman if it wasn't to make out rosters and papers and stuff like that instead of cutting down trees? Probably too old to be doing it now. Okay, back to that. Was that? Where am I? Oh, that wasn't right. Back up to shadow. What the hell I got that? Huh. Okay, back up to shadow. And do this over here. This over here. We have to color his boots. Though I do need shadow over it, I can do the boots in the color layer. That's what I'll do. What's this? Somebody's behind him. So he's going to have. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'm going to get into Bootsyville. Bootsyville, okay. Boots. Okay. And then go down to color. And color Clifford's boots over here. Uh-huh. Okay, and Blueboy's got boots on too, so let's just color his. Well, Blueboy has this little space between his boots and his knee-high breeches, which I haven't fully articulated, at least not in that one. So I gotta, these guys back here should probably be colored kind of the same way I did those guys in the upper portion, sort of like the upper panel. I colored the background, just this uniform warm color. That enabled me to push everybody in the background. I think I'll do this here too. There's a few spots I missed. Okay, we're here. Been doing this about an hour, I suppose. Yeah, almost an hour. Well, I got he's kind of pigeon-toed, isn't he? Okay, do the same thing over here. Up here. Up there. And over here. So these guys look like what they are. Backup crew. Okay. Okay. Did I get stuck again? Oh, I think I got stuck again. Okay, I'm back. Good. Better save. Okay, I'm saved. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I kind of messed up his boots. Fix that. Oh, do it right here. Hmm. That's not so bad, I guess. Hmm. And then probably all this down here needs to be filled in because there's nothing else for it to do except this guy's pants needs to be colored the same as the rest of his pants. This needs to be down here, that color. And up there needs to be that color. This can also. And what was I doing? Oh. Will that do it? Nope, won't do it. It must be here, down here. I replaced that. No, I can't. Well, what am I doing? I got that. Okay, I wanted that color right there. Now I have it. Bring this down here a bit. Okay. So back to shadows. Back to that bluish thing I got going on there. And let's play around with the shadows that's laying over this guy's shoulder back here. And la 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 la. And then there'll be some more shadow going on over here. Okay. I'll put some shadow over this, shadow over that ear. That wasn't a good shadow over the ear. A little less frenetic and be careful, old man. Okay. And then that color needs to go right down here. Okay, now. This look like. I could probably do something up here. So these guys aren't just kind of 1950s would Andy Warhol colored kind of thing. They could use this and in color 2. Let's make sure that's not color 2. Yeah, it is. So I use it up in shadow. Now let's see what I can do to, bring, that color is a little too much like that color. So, well, let's see what happens. It's all on color to the shadow layer, so it's not going to be difficult to get rid of if I don't like it. La 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 la. Okay. Okay. Now maybe we just do those two guys. Leave the rest in the background alone. Or we just do this over here. Okay. A little bit on this guy. Don't want to leave him out of it. Okay, see what that looks like. Nah. Now you're getting. Now you're just getting too persnickety. Okay, get rid of that. Better if you're going to put it in the background and shove them in the background and let them stay there. Oh, better. Well, oh, man, maybe this. That's no. I need that blue that I was using here, and bring it over like this. Yeah, more like that. That bothered me, and I need to put some shadow in that hat. And bring that all to the way to the brim. I don't want all of these to look as if they were just the same treatment. Um, okay, I'm gonna dodge this a tiny bit so I can get the sense that there's light actually shining on that belt. Well, what happened there? Did I smudge it? Did I smudge it? I thought I did. Yeah. Son of a gun. I'm having to use the mouse right now because my thing is going kablooey on me again. Anyway, I got that. What if, They'll come back to me in a minute. Oh boy. Dad, burn it. What are you doing to me? Reconnect you again. See what if you come back to me, little Sheba. Varmint and burn varmint. Anyway, starting to look kind of interesting. Come back. Come on. Welcome. Be nice. You're better than that replacement tablet I had, but you're kicking me off today. Was that it? Nope. Sure wasn't. There, I got it. Is that back? Okay, I got it back. Not to drive you nuts. Anyway, where was I? What was I doing? Now I got the rolling beach ball. Up. Oh, what's all this? Huh. And now the beach ball is by itself, just doing nothing. And my Wacom's gone again. Oh. Okay, you're back. You're such a bad boy. Okay, what was I doing? Heck if I know. Huh. Oh, that's okay. What's all this down here? Maybe I can turn that into just my little. Okay. Let's. Okay. Now I'm going to increase the size of this. And Korea, do a little bit of that. Okay. Okay. Now, is there anything else I need to do to this? Well, I was going to go into color and play around with that a little bit to separate all that. It's raining outside. Well. We're in the rainy season. First time I ever visited Florida in 1992. I spent a week here. It rained every day, not just rain, downpours, torrential rain, gully washers, frog chokers. Ugh. And we haven't had a rainy season here. Rainy seasons for several years were sort of like delayed. They'd happen in, August or July or something like August or something like that. Now the rainy seasons are coming back. Uh, well, I don't know. Let me play around with my shadows again. Up here in the shadow department. How about that? Maybe that's a little bit better. Yeah, maybe that's a little bit better because you get this nose popping out just a tiny bit. And I'm going to try something, and I don't have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a separate layer just below. It's just going to be some line work. It's going to be with my little watercolor brush because out here I have nothing going on. Then the tree goes up like this. It keeps growing out little twigs everywhere. I don't know if I just want one tree there or a line of trees back there. I don't know. Man, that's probably all dumb. I should just get rid of all that. Yeah, just easy enough just to get rid of that layer. Yeah, make it simple. Or what Alex Toth always said, simplify, simplify. What if let me see, where's my shadow? What if I took this layer, this right here, and I added this because I want, if this is a part of it, it has to be also affected. And I played around with that shadow area and reduced its saturation. That didn't do anything. Okay. But okay, I'll adjust the hue and saturation. I can make it lighter. Can I make it lighter? Can you help me out, guys? Can I make it lighter? There. Yeah, a little bit lighter. Yeah. I think it was a little too dark. I think it was just a tiny bit too dark. We get, yeah, it's just a little too dark. Yeah, that was his problem. A little too dark. So I can get rid of that. Yeah, just a little too dark. So there you got it. There you have it. Okay. Wonder if that's the same thing going on here. Maybe this is a little too that those shadow areas are a little too uh, dark, and maybe I can lighten them up a tiny bit. Well, oh, I want to preview it. Okay, that's dark, lightened. I think it works a little better. Light it up a little bit. Yeah, I think it works a little bit when I lighten up the shadow so it's not so intense. Okay, let's save that. Okay. Uh, so, okay, did I save that? Yeah, I saved it. So, got that. I'm going to, for the time being, be satisfied with that. Colors coming around. I see something's going to bother me later. This guy's nose has a huge yeah, it can't be that big. And maybe I should do some cleaning up down here in the line layer. There's little places. Highlights, exposure. Well, it should do it. Huh. How about shadows? Huh. Oh, I see. Probably I need to save it again because it's acting squirrely with me. Yeah, I saved it. Now is it gonna? Why doesn't anything ever cooperate with me? I go in the highlights again. Well, is that where that is? It sure is. So don't give me any static. Well, what if I just erased you? I get mean. Don't even erase. So I'm having problems. Everybody has problems. Any comments you might have are always appreciated, even if you think I stink. At least I know you care. Okay, let me see. I just keep on having this thing where my tool won't work. Will eventually. Still doing it. You son of a gun. Okay, do it again. Exposure 100%. Range. This is the dodge tool. I did it right. It should be dodging. You are weird. You are a weird thing. How about if that worked. Maybe something will come back. Maybe it'll come back. Well, if that works, why doesn't that work? Huh. That's normal. Okay, that's normal. Except this isn't normal. Okay. How about we go to just white? I'm going to do a workaround. Then what if we just, you see, you are just cantankerous as all get out. Unless that doesn't, it does exist on that layer. Oh, you are mean, mean, mean. Dodge tool. There's probably something going on that I don't realize. Okay. Oh, not working. Probably some expert in Photoshop out there saying he doesn't realize what he's supposed to be doing right now. Laughing and laughing and laughing. And no, I don't. Wait a second. How about I hit Control D? Yeah, that was it. Somewhere there was something selected, and I hadn't unselected it. I'm as brilliant as a 15-watt bulb. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Okay, just certain little things that bother me that should be cleaned up around here. Just tiny things that probably wouldn't bother anybody else, but does bother me. And maybe I need to redraw some of this stuff. So, the way I'm using my pencil these days is kind of rough. There are times when I do extremely simple stuff. You don't have all these extraneous marks, which eventually, I think it's just in this hat here. And maybe I could just do a little bit of redrawing with my watercolor. Yeah, maybe I just do a little bit of light drawing on this, and it'll start to play by the rules that I want. See, some of these lines are just a little too sketchy. And I'd rather they were a little more emphatic. Maybe I need to fill that in to give it a little more graphic presence, but then I'm going to have to play around the bottom edge of that. What did that do to it? That's interesting. Let me see if I can. And over here, probably I did some dodging over here, and I may have overdone it. This guy's hat over here in the right hand top, I may have overdone that dodging a bit. Makes it look like a Xerox copy from the 1970s. I remember those Xerox copies. They cost $1 each. And they were horrible. They're all gray. And this is right around the time that Disney started using photocopying for all its cell animation. They were playing around with this sketchy thing. Of course, they had the first probably copy machines. And mine, I had to go down to the stationery store across the street from the bookstore I was working at to get things done. See how that actually comes out. I'm monitoring this on my tablet. It comes out very stuttered in a very, skip frames kind of way, which I can't do anything about that right now because this is a 2009 laptop and it does not have the video card. That probably would make this into a really cool experience for everybody, but that'll come in the fall. And I'll be doing this in the fall also. I'll be doing this until the end of the 9-book series. I think I probably will. That means on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook page, I have like 1,500 of these. Oh well. See what that other minute gives a hoot. Next month, I plan, this is my plan, to have a Kickstarter campaign. It's going to be very modest. I mentioned this yesterday. I'm going to mention it again today. I'm going to take something out of my printmaker's playbook. I'm going to do a limited edition. I have no idea how the size of the edition will be right now because that'll depend upon the success of the Kickstarter campaign. If it's just moderately successful, it'll be a very small edition. If it's very successful, then it'll be a larger edition, but it'll still be numbered and signed. It will not be signed on the front cover. I don't like that. Not one bit. I think that messes up the cover. It'll be on the inside front cover. And it'll have the kind of notation you see in etchings and lithographies and any other type of fine art thing, where it'll be a number, which is the number of this print, and then a slash, and then the amount of prints there are in the edition. So 250, 1/250. If it's 250 copies, we'd hope it'd be a little bit bigger than that. But if it's only 250 copies, and that's how much, how many, that's what it'll look like. Put that in there so I don't have to do any more recoloring. I'm just doing some redrawing here to try to strengthen some of the parts of this. So that's what I plan to do. I think I have a strategy where I can do this, pull it off. It's not very difficult. I've got my printer. It's a really good printer. It's in the United States. It's in Illinois. It's called Mixam. And I like the fact that it's right here in the good old USA. I don't have to worry about tariffs and trade deficits and all that other stuff. That's out of my purview. Anyway, there's lots of when I was young, I used to print at this place called ABC Printing. I think that's the name of it, in this little town in Missouri. Some of my old buddies were the print technicians. They're basically the guys who ran the presses. They were really good at it. But the digital revolution ruined their lives. Because you could print, everything went digital. Desktop publishing came upon them, and they both got laid off. And so I'm all for not letting that happen to American printers, giving them our business is important. I made this real sketchy back here because, I wanted to remain in the background, not to come forward in any way. Let me see. Let's do this a little bit. Okay. And I want to darken Blueboy's hair. Really make it black. And I'm going to clean this up a tiny bit. I'm on the right layer. Well, what are you doing there? Okay, let me see if I can work on this hat. Okay. And I didn't put much of a layer of color there on the edge of that hat, so I'm going to do that. Do it up here in the shadow area. I think that's where it is. Yep. And maybe I can deepen that a little bit, even though it has a little K in it. That's not what I wanted. I'll do it over here in color too. I don't know if I like that either. Nah, I don't. Okay. Abandon that idea. Okay. Take my glasses off. Look at it. Look at it on the monitor. And maybe that's something I can tackle. Up here in the shadows. Lay in just the tiniest. Why did that not work? Maybe we're here. Okay. Do. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try over in the shadow area. Don't want to get too bandy with this. Okay. So I have Clifford in the lower left-hand corner, and he's between these two different color areas, and so he's accentuated and he's doesn't pop out. So let's give this guy a brown. So I don't want him to pop out either. Okay. Okay. Could be a Well, let's try making it a bluish color. Okay. Well, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Huh. What if I pretended there was yeah, another shadow band across this guy's face? Let's play around with that. Can't do any harm. That's not so bad. Which means that I have to accentuate some of this so that it has some kind of, well, don't want to do that. Uh, maybe, so I said I didn't want to make this guy's face too, well, can't do any harm to look. But I have to do, I'd have to do everything looking that like that. But it does, it's not too bad an idea that this guy is, that the sun is being blocked by this little group there. And that's okay. That could work. Yeah. Okay. And did I get all his nose in there? Oh, don't give me troubles. Yeah, I didn't get his whole nose in there. Yeah, I got to get his whole nose in there. Oh, the underside of his nostril, because if there's going to be no light on top of the nostril, there sure as heck ain't going to be no light on the bottom of it. And let's accentuate his earlobe a little bit. Not too horrible. Okay. Let's save this. And I'm gonna take a short break, and I'm gonna come back, and I'm going to tackle this. Tackle this because it's a little too simple. Sometimes you can get a little too simple, and this is one of those times, just a little too simple. Now, I'm real fond of this page. What I'm going to do, this is a normal, so I'm going to duplicate this layer. Line drawing copy. Okay, line drawing copy. And just name this line drawing. Okay, so I'll lock this in case anything stupid happens, which is not unusual. Okay, so, and the reason I'm doing this, because this is page 63 and this is page 62. They will face each other. And this can't, oh, you silly. This can't be super complex and then this super simple. They'll fight each other. So I have to make them agree. It won't have anything to do with the composition, because this is one of those pages where, at least in my estimation, I was hitting on all 8 cylinders. So this is where my long-standing practice since I was a kid of just doing pure line drawing, pure line contour drawing, which I didn't know when I was a kid was the classic way of setting up a figure. That who's this guy? Tony Ryder. Look up Tony Ryder. I've got one of his books around here. Tony Ryder. He is an absolutely amazing figure artist. And he has an entire book and a website, but the book's better, in which he basically shows you that you can, just using geometric shapes, you can figure out how to get perfect proportions. And then once you get a line drawing like this, then it's a matter of just modeling what's inside the contour. I just do this on my own. I don't have any models. Comics, you just cannot, work from models all the time. There's an old deal. Alex Raymond used to get interviewed by, San Francisco Examiner and stuff like that. And he'd act like he was drawing everything from models, but he wasn't. He was not drawing everything from models. Let me fix something here. He was not drawing everything from models because you cannot produce a syndicated. I'm going to have to do that on my own. You cannot produce a syndicated comic strip that's 6 weeks in advance and work from models all the time. You go nuts. You just don't have. Nobody has that kind of time. So unless you can draw from your imagination, you can't do this. And you have to have a large store of your own visual ideas to do this. You can't just keep on going and looking at other people's stuff and stuff like that. You can get inspired by people, and Lord knows I've been inspired by many people. This is where I'm kind of more or less channeling Alex Toth, whom I adore. But right now it's too simple. Where is my get down here? Where is it? There. Okay, there you are. Now, so I'm gonna delete this because because the one that I fixed was this one. So now I make it line drawing copy. Okay. And then I lock this. They're both normal layers. And I'll draw on this one. Okay, now I get it right. So I don't want this to be too big. So now I want to first these things that I have all over the ground here have to be in here. Let me just do the line work here, and then I'll color it tomorrow. And I have to completely redraw page 64, which is one of those pages where I just was off my feed, and it stinks. So that's life. That's part of the whole process is redrawing and rewriting and making it better, and not being tied to anything that doesn't work. If it doesn't work, get rid of it. Not that big a deal. It's like we always tell students, they get so upset about their drawings. Or it says, it's a piece of paper, bud. It's got some graphite or charcoal on it. Don't worry about it. Do another one. We got lots of paper here. I just show this huge pile of paper and all the pencils and charcoal we got and say, make another one. Come on. Don't get hung up on one thing. So you just got to keep on plugging away till you get the whole thing where where you could show it to anyone, say, hey, did my best. Okay. Little bit of accentuation here. A little bit here. A little bit here. A little bit there. Bring that up a bit. Okay, what else is there? Yeah, I have the same thing down here. Okay. Okay, I got this should be some of that here. Don't want it to be too much. Okay. Maybe there's a little bit down here. Bubba, bubba, bubba. And then kind of want to play around with this tree. So this is sort of like a standing up against the tree or these pike poles that are used to move logs around. Give it a little more definition. I just want to use short strokes to define this stuff. Just little hatch, a cross hatch. Don't want to get too far away from the simplicity of this, but I want there to be more than just these open spaces, which are kind of nice, but it's too out of concert with what is going on here. Can't have it too different. Color scheme will help. It'll help me that I'm going to match these two the color scheme is going to match. And I think I've happened upon a kind of a color scheme that I kind of like that I'm going to see if I can adapt when I recolor some of these pages. I'm going to do what John Gardner did when he spent 6 weeks going through every sentence of a collection of short stories and saying, is this sentence work? Is it getting across what I wanted to say? Is it poetic? Is it beautiful? Because beauty is a big draw to all art. It's not beautiful, most people aren't going to look at it. Unless you're doing vampires and zombies. But even then, the drawing has to be strong. Like Ivan Albright's stuff that you see in the Art Institute of Chicago. One of those Chicago artists in this works just of all these absolutely malformed people. They're okay. There's just these maybe overweight people or something like that, but the skin is like purplish and it's incredibly detailed and maybe overdeveloped and everything like that. And you say, this guy has a really bad outlook on life. He thinks maybe the world is just a horrible place. Which I suppose if you're living in the middle of the last century, a lot of crummy things were going on back then. Really, really bad things. So I can maybe see how you could think like that. Some bad, bad, bad stuff. Okay. And since this is a tree, it's got to have bark, and bark runs vertical down a tree. until you see a limb come out, then it changes direction. And this will separate when I introduce the color scheme. This will separate. This will become foreground and background just from the way I use color. Okay. How did I have this guy's hair? Okay. Yeah, it's pretty close. Okay. Okay, separate this guy's head from his caretaker. He's being nice to him, saying, "Here, let me help you out, boy." And this is his few little things here, and this needs to be separated somewhat. Okay. This comes over like that. And then I need to have, I said it over and over and over again when I was coloring, that all cylindrical things have light, highlight, light, shadow, cast shadow, and ambient light. And the ambient light over here, and this is where you'll get the core shadow. It's called core shadow. It's core shadow. Yeah, that separates that out. Okay. This guy's ticked off. Yeah, not like the way he's being treated. Uh, yep, that's going to stretch out like that. Can't get away from that. And that's going to stretch out like that. You can't get away from that. Yeah, that's going to, you're going to have a crease there. It's going to come up like that. Okay. Okay, now let's play around over here. This is a little simpler, and you can make this a little simpler, simply because it's a middle shot. A close-up shot like the one on the right needs to have a little more definition. But a middle shot like this one on the left, it can be simple in such a way that old Alex would say, "You catching on, boy? Somebody's listening to me." Now put in some of these folds and create some little emphasis areas just by putting in some folds. This like here. I can bring this down here a little bit. Don't want to get too far away from the simplicity of this drawing because it's one of my favorite drawings in the entire book. And Clifford's walking away because he won. That didn't work. Get up a little bit farther here so it doesn't intersect that line of that boot. Okay. And maybe I can put, I can put some clouds back here. Yeah, put some clouds back here. Clouds never hurt anything. And that'll kind of also be a visual rhyme with those stones on the ground. It's what they're supposed to be. Gotta make sure you don't create some kind of see. Gotta make sure you don't create some kind of optical illusion. And this guy needs his body to extend down here. Take that one out. Okay. Need to clean that part up. Okay, that's getting there. Then we go down here. And we bring this up here. And since this is a semi-close up, we're going to have to add more of what we had down here, but we don't want to get too crazy because then we'll obscure the pike poles. Sure don't want to do that. Want the pike poles to kind of stand out. Okay. And so we want to work on that cylindrical lighting arrangement. There's a part of all things that are round and cylindrical. Maybe I should enlarge that a bit. You can see I have a sketchbook preliminary that I scan, and then I print it out on a laser printer exactly the size that I want for my originals on bristle board. Then I use a piece of carbon paper, it's the kind you use for typewriters, to trace that image on, and then I go over it and render it in mechanical pencil, and it works. And it's a good way to get your studies onto your final page. You could graph it. You can do all types of stuff to it, but it's ridiculous. You can put it on a light box, but you'll ruin your eyes. Bright lights will mess with your eyes. No main reason I didn't buy a Wacom display tablet. Did I lose my? Yeah, I did. I lost my Wacom tablet again. It'll come back. So the reason I didn't buy a Wacom display tablet is that Rick Barry turned me on to an article that said that the blue light emitted from the display screens that are a feature of Wacom display tablets do irreparable damage to your retinas. And I just cannot go have a problem with my retinas. I just do not, cannot get into that. So, it came back. So I decided just to stay old school. And you cut down on my time in which I am messing. I don't get too close to a real bright screen. I try not to. When I read on my phone and everything, I got one of those blue light filters. And even then, there's a certain amount of time I can look at a phone, and I should turn away after that because it still messes with your eyes, makes your eyes all blurry. I don't know if you've experienced that, but I do. And so I try not to do that much, which is the saddest part, which is probably what the Kindle Paperwhite is all about, mimicking the effects of paper so that your eyes don't get strained. I don't know if they can ever do that with a. I'm not fond of that. I'm gonna get rid of all that. No, I'm not gonna do that. If I do it, I'll do it in color. Yep. If I do it, I'll do it in color. I didn't like that. I gotta. Okay. Over here, though, I can probably stand to do that because it enables me to separate that background and that object. And color will separate all that stuff. It'll become obvious. Okay, let's play around with his clothing. Use a little of my left-handed hatching that I borrow from Leonardo. Just do some of that. Don't want to overdo it. Do. Okay, it's getting there. And that's probably as far as it should go there. And then I should give this guy a tiny bit more complexity, just the tiniest bit. Probably just in his hair. And a little bit on his arm. I need to clean that up just the tiniest bit, because that's a smudge when I was drawing, because I'm left-handed and I have real bad habits of laying my hand on the page and smudging everything that's on the left side of the page and things on the left side of an image. I do it all my life. I can't stop it. I guess I could get one of those little bridges that you put. Some people put when they're. I used to do it for etchings, because you don't want to get any oil on a plate when you're doing like when you're working on it. But we're just drawing pencils. I'm not gonna do it anyway. So there's a little more smudging here. There's not going to be a huge effect on anything that you experience as a viewer. Maybe I can play around with this a bit. Finally, after all these years, know how to draw wood. Wood is not easy to draw. Wood and rocks, not easy to draw. They weren't for me when I was young. I guess I've seen enough wood and enough rocks to finally catch on. Okay, what's that look like? Okay, that looks like it could more closely match that. Yeah, that can more closely match that page. Yeah, so that'll help. So I'm gonna let me see. What did I have on my plate here? I have that. Oh, this. I was thinking about how I colored shadows, and this is from earlier in the book when Grandpa Blue was running away from the feds, and he goes back to his home, his father's home outside Metropolis, Illinois, which has actually happened in my family. My great grandfather was born in Metropolis, Illinois. So some of this is actually, I just use a little snippets of family history just because how could you not use Metropolis, Illinois? How could you not use Metropolis, Illinois? You have to. If it's in your family tree, if it's in your family history, you've got to use Metropolis, Illinois. Anyway, he goes back to Metropolis, Illinois. Things don't go so well. He finds himself out in the woods after he's passed out. He's been in the woods for 6 weeks, eating berries and nuts and afraid to do anything. Mainly making sure that the horse gets fed. And he ends up hearing his brother says, "Well, you're in big trouble, boy. Federal troops come looking for you last week." What's that mean? It means you got to run like the Blue Blazes was after you, because it is. Here, I got you some supplies. Well, you're going to have to do something about that red hair. Anyway, he's mostly chromatic neutrals to create these shadow areas. This is out in the middle of the forest. It's in the middle of August, so there's lots of canopy. And so I use this watercolor deal here, and I'm going to come back and put a watercolor texture on top of this when I get a chance, and then I'll put that in there. This is right at the beginning when I said, hey, I should make this all look like watercolor. But anyway, all the shadows here are chromatic neutrals, and it's not as complete. It's a greenish thing, and there's probably a little bit of black in here, but it's greenish enough so that it works off this. And you'll notice that I use predominantly cool colors everywhere except for the areas that I want you to focus on, and those will become warm colors. And that's that's a time out of mind. That's the way it's been done. Artists been doing that stuff since forever. So that's what I did. That's I brought that out just to give you another example of how you don't use black for much of anything except line. Then occasionally you can use it in some shadows when you really want to get something going on, but you'd better off using a chromatic neutral like I did here. I really can't. You can't even see my dadgum cursor here. Can you see the cursor? That's very frustrating. Okay. So going around and around and around. Yeah, it is. Okay. So you can see my cursor going around. What do I know? Anyway, so let me get out of that. Get out of that. And I'll show us some of my, where are you preview? Okay. I really went to town on this earlier this week. I really went to town on this earlier this week. I had a blast doing this. Let me get rid of that banner so you can actually see the dang thing. Come on, banner. Okay. Hide the banner. Okay. I really went to town on this thing this week. And using just chromatic neutrals to get my shadows, and had a blast doing this. This was recolored. It was really a washed out thing, but I had just gotten back into comics. I hadn't really done any of this stuff for a while. I'd been doing etchings, black and white stuff, stuff with the, black ink, paper, copper plates, engravings, and stuff like that. So I just gotten back into this, and I done enough watercolor in my time to know how watercolor works, and so I been messing around with this to make it into digital watercolors. So that's where I was earlier this week, and then come on, don't do that to me. And then, of course, I was looking at this was sort of my color touchstone for, where'd you go? Where'd 60? Oh, there you went. Yeah. So this becomes a color touchstone. It's just really enough to drive you crazy, these things. Yeah. Becomes kind of a color touchstone so that I maintain that sense of the same color scheme throughout an entire story arc. And I may go back and play around with this color scheme in earlier parts of the pages because I am planning on doing some recoloring before I send this off to a printer so that I got it up to snuff for everything. Everything looks kind of cool. Yeah. Anyway, so here I am, hemming and hawing and going on and on. And where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Oh, so why don't I just end with my little screen here, my little screeny. Where are you? There, Blueboy Brown. This is Blueboy Brown, The Adventures of a Family. It's been about 2.5 hours, so I'm about ready to drop. But I've had fun because the page is working. We'll see. Nothing is written in stone until some the aria at the end. We'll see what happens. And so I'm always adjusting things. I don't think I'll adjust those. What you're seeing right now, I do not think I'll adjust that. That is one of those times when sometimes things work and sometimes they don't. And when they do work, be thankful and be done with it. Okay. So I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m., not 11:30. And so it'll be 10 a.m. And anyway, I got to work on the syllabus for my college class this afternoon. Get that submitted because in less than 2 weeks, it's back to school. Okay. So y'all have a good evening, and I'll see you the next time the sun comes up. Okay. Bye-bye.